What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
And I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today with us.
Yeah, man. We're looking forward to connecting with y'all because we think that we got a good episode, but you know, we'll find out if we really do by the feedback y'all give us. But we always going to hype ourselves up.
You know what? Well, we're excited to get into it, you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. Start off with the keeping it real moment, Devin. You got something you want to keep it real about?
Let me think. There's a couple things that I want to keep it real about, but I'll just keep it real about one thing. Something that I've complained about a lot on this podcast. And it's, I'm ready for school to be over.
Really?
I'm ready for school to be over.
But you enjoyed it so much, I thought.
I really enjoy it. The crazy thing is I never thought that I would enjoy going to school. Mm-hmm. And I'm appreciative of the experience. I love being able to connect with my classmates. But this is just like a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It's an extreme amount of work piled on top of, you know, other responsibilities that I already have to get done.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't want the experience to end. I don't want the growth that's happening in this program to end. But I'm done writing papers. I'm over it. I'm done pulling all-nighters. Like, I'm almost 33 years old. I can't do what I once used to do as a child or when I was younger. Like, if I'm not getting the right amount of sleep at this age, it hurts. Yeah. It's painful. My eyeballs hurt.
It's tragic, for sure.
My body hurts. Like, everything hurts when you don't get the right amount of sleep when you get in your 30s, man. Like, I'm ready for it to be over with. So graduation is next month.
Almost crazy. At the finish line.
Yeah, it's crazy that it has flown by this fast.
Well, not next month. You know we still in March.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. So I graduate in May. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. And then I have a capstone that's due in August, which I'm not even thinking about right now because I already know that's going to be a crazy amount of work. But being able to walk across that stage after dedicating myself for a year to this program, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited that we get to go and watch you walk across the stage. It was an exciting moment when we saw you before, when you got your master's, but just being able to see you now. Again, and Arya's older and she's excited. You said you want them to help you decorate the cap. So I think it would be an exciting moment for everybody.
Yeah, I think that, you know, for me, the biggest thing with walking across this stage is just showing both Leah and Arya that, you know, you're going to face some challenging times in life. But if you're willing to put forth the effort, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to, right? Yeah. So that's why I like sharing with them, like, yeah, I'm fatigued. Writing the papers are hard. Writing the papers is hard. It's challenging. But for them to be able to watch me go through this process, I know that it's going to help them when they get older. Like, oh, I saw my dad. He was struggling with his schoolwork, but he still was able to get it done and graduate. Yeah. So all I have to do is take the same approach that daddy's taking or that I watch mommy taking. I'll be able to accomplish, you know, the goals that I set for myself. So I think that's going to be pretty cool to have them both at the graduation.
Yeah, so I'm sure we'll be sharing more of that experience with you guys in the next coming weeks. But before we get into our topic and our message, I just had to keep it real with y'all because, you know, y'all like family to us.
Our real ones.
You know, our real ones, our real community. And so we are, you guys, going to make an announcement. Drum roll.
Don't have one. Manual.
But no, we're not pregnant, but we're trying, okay?
Yeah.
We are trying, which I think it's been a long time coming. You know, if y'all are new here, if y'all been here for a while, y'all may not know that we had experienced a miscarriage 2 years ago, which was, it don't even seem like it was that long.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I was just about to say to you, man, this is crazy. I'm glad you just said that because now I get to speak freely.
Yeah.
Because I was just about to say to you, damn, it's been 2 years already. But I didn't want you to be like, oh, you don't remember? when this happened. You don't remember the date that this happened. So I stopped myself from saying it, but I'm glad that you just said it because it doesn't feel like it's been 2 years.
Yeah, it's coming up on 2 years this fall. But it's so crazy because Aria would be 3, and it didn't seem like then it was so close. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. But we have processed those emotions that we went through. I feel like I processed the fear, to some extent, and anxiety of being afraid to try again. Afraid of what can happen or if we will experience, God willing, we don't, anything of the sort. But it's just like, it's out of my control. It's out of my hands. I got to put it and leave it up to God, pray on it. And so after us discussing it and, really talking about our emotions and working through that and being like, you know what? The real deal is Arya is she is growing up real fast, right? She about to be 3. And I had told Devin, like
it's been 3 years since we had her, though. Stressed, bro. She keep
us on our toes. What? But I was like, I really had this vision of having children very close in age because of me and my siblings being close in age. And I just think it's like, it's not only just fun and exciting, but it's just like, it's comforting to them as they grow up that they have their siblings that they can go to school with, that they know, they can talk to about things. When there's a huge age gap, sometimes, of course you can have that close relationship, but it's not really as the same when you got to go to school with your sibling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think and it's a very important point.
What?
Yes, the child's well-being should be taken into consideration, right? Like being able to grow up with somebody that's in close proximity to your age, go to school with them, you know what I mean? That's important. But what is also important is our well-being and our mental health. And if we had 2 Aryas around the same time,
I think that'd be great.
We could not handle that, yo.
It would be hilarious. But maybe, it would be a balance.
It'll be hilarious sometimes. Other times it will be stressful. Like, what you mean? And how would that create balance? Explain that to me.
I'm just saying maybe it would be a balance. We don't know that we wouldn't have 2 Aryas. Okay, Arya is one of a kind. So maybe I know what you're saying. No,
we made her that way. So
maybe our other maybe the next child will be calm and zen and just balance it out. They might even balance Arya out. Mellow her out a little bit. But
she's too far gone.
But we're excited.
About that, though. Just to get a little bit deeper, because I know when we put that episode out, when we talked about the miscarriage, a lot of women started to reach out, and as we're trying right now, there's a couple of things that may come across my mind that sometimes I don't know. Like, I want to take an extremely positive approach to this, so sometimes I won't bring up negative thoughts that may come in my mind or things that can be perceived as negative if I ask you about it. So, like, going through this process, does it scare you? Do you feel like, if it doesn't happen, that you may internalize the things and feel like something is wrong with you? Because I know we talked about before where we were trying to have our first child together. You was talking about that age of 30 where, like, you was pressing issue, like, I need to hurry up and have a child because I'm hitting that threshold. So, like, do you still have that fear? Do you sometimes think that if it doesn't go right that we miss that window? Like, what kind of thoughts do you have?
I feel like I do to a certain extent. I feel like because, of course, nowadays it's people that in ways that you can have children beyond 30, beyond that, threshold, which we talked about, or which I talked about before, which we hear a lot, where women feel like at a certain point, it's just like, I have to have a child by now. Like, I have to, my time clock is ticking, like, and it puts pressure on you. But it's like, I feel like it really is in God's timing, right? Because when we were, or not even necessarily, we weren't necessarily trying when we had conceived before, right? Not Arya, but like after the fact. It wasn't like we were like, okay, let's go ahead. This is the time that we need to do it. It happened, right? And I think,
because I was definitely shooting the club up.
No, but we weren't trying like how we were before, right? And that just, it kind of leads into an announcement that I was going to say, because the process of our TTC journey when we were trying to have Aria was a lot different because I wasn't as informed about, my ovulation schedule and things that I need to check and everything like that. So, having a little bit of that experience under my belt going into the second time around, it was just like, okay, well, now I know this time period after, my cycle and everything is when I'm fertile. So let's go ahead and try for that. So that's what I mean by me saying we weren't being like as intentional of saying, okay, how we had the journey before, because we knew what we were doing a little bit more. So as far as that goes, it was like, it was kind of not unexpected, but it was just like, it was a surprise. But like, of course, going through that experience now, looking back at it, it does make me feel like uneasy sometimes. It does make me question, like I was saying, is it going to happen again? Are we going to experience something similar? Have I missed that window? Right? Those thoughts come into my mind quite often, but like we had conversations. And I had a conversation with God, and it's just like, if it is the time, and if I'm supposed to, give birth and bring another child into this life, then it will happen, right? And I just have to trust that it's up to him, and if it's meant to be, it will happen. I can't let the fear consume me like I was letting for quite some time. So I think just being able to work through that, to pray about it, to be able to have those conversations, to talk through it it's helpful, because it's just like, yeah, unfortunately, you're always going to have the thoughts in the back of your mind, but you can work through it.
Yeah. And I ask you that because sometimes, like I said, that we can go through those thinking traps and we can internalize a lot of the things that we're going through and wrongfully put the blame on ourselves for something that doesn't, have anything to do with us.
Yeah.
Right. And like, we're working through this stuff real time because we just decided to share this with y'all before we hit that record button, because we literally just started. Like, we just started trying, like 5 minutes before we recorded this podcast was our first time trying.
No, it wasn't, you guys. No, stop. What is wrong with him?
We literally just decided that we was going to start trying to conceive again. So it's like we're working through this process in real time. So that is something that has been on my mind, me wanting to ask you, but not really knowing how to ask you, because I don't want to bring up those negative thoughts, because I know once you're in it, you can spiral out of control. And I don't want you to go through this process. I don't want you to go through this process with negative thoughts through your mind. I want you to go through this process feeling good. And we always talk about that it's not about the outcome, but it's about the journey. So I want you to feel good during this journey of us trying to conceive.
Yes, I feel good, and I appreciate your.
I make you feel good.
You know what? That can go in different ways. So I'm not even
going
to touch on it.
There's only one way that I was referring to it.
Okay.
But you didn't catch it.
Yeah, I caught it all right.
You can catch a lot of stuff.
Y'all, but before we get into the next topic or next discussion,
don't smack my hand and try to get me to stop.
I have an announcement. So like we was talking about with our previous TTC journey, and everything we went through, and of course, going through something which I feel like like the miscarriage, in which something that so many women have reached out to me personally about and share their experience. I thought it was very important for me to share our journey of trying now, and the whole process of the ovulation tracking and our TTC journey. That is like a tongue twister with these braces, but
just say trying to get knocked up.
Yeah, you're trying to conceive journey. I just felt like it was important for me to share that with everyone, because we have been, very open with our lives, and even before, when I was sharing my pregnancy, when I was pregnant with Aria. But I feel like this time, it means something different, right? Like going through that whole experience, which I hadn't gone through before, it took me to a place, and it's like, although I realized how precious it was to conceive to begin with, it's just like, it really shifted my mind, right? And I think it's very important to be able to share this, because there's a lot of women that may have similar thoughts that I have, or have even other thoughts where it's like, maybe I'm not supposed to conceive. Maybe it won't happen. And those negative thoughts can consume you.
Those thoughts?
Yeah.
That maybe you're not
Yes.
supposed to conceive?
Sometimes, yeah, like
Recent
even
thoughts?
before.
I know we talked
No,
about it
like
before.
before, and
Okay.
even like in the beginning of when we first started trying before we had Arya, it was like, am I supposed to conceive? Am I going to conceive? Those negative thoughts happen when it doesn't happen in the time in which you want it to happen, and so it can consume you. But I want to be able to share our journey as hopefully a light and some form of inspiration to say, you know what, if it's supposed to happen, it will happen. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's so many different ways to conceive nowadays. So don't just feel like if it doesn't happen the way that you envision, that you can't, because you can. So I'm excited to share that with you all. Hopefully we'll be making an announcement sooner than later, but y'all stay tuned for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we have a message from a real one?
Yes, y'all. So getting into this message. So the message says, hey guys, I'm a podcast listener and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for all that you do. I don't usually do this, but I need some advice. So I proposed to my girlfriend of 4 years in January on our 4-year anniversary. A little backstory is she will always say, I wonder when is the day when you will propose. And this happened after 1.5 years of her saying that. Finally, I popped the question and she said yes. But today she told me I hadn't done anything wrong, but she was not ready. And so we broke up. Any tips or ideas of how to get over this? Because anything will help. You got something to say to that?
She did wrong. She did wrong. That's my.
So why you say that?
To be real about it, because you don't press the issue, and then you get what you've been asking for, and then now all of a sudden you ain't ready.
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Yeah. I think
because you breaking this man's spirit. Like I'm telling you right now, like, and I'm not saying it's not hard for women, and I'm not saying it's hard for all men, because I don't know all men. I can speak for myself. I can speak for majority of the men that I know that wasn't raised around marriage and all this other stuff and that whole family dynamic. Like, sometimes it's scary to make that decision, to get engaged, to get married. And when you finally bring yourself to that point and you do it, you say, this is the one for me.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this. I'm going to go through with this. I'm going to dedicate myself to this woman and building a family with them. And then you just call it off without any real explanation. You dead wrong.
Yeah, that's tough. I think it's definitely wrong with, and how you explained it, it makes a lot of sense, because like you said, when it would be one thing if y'all was together for the 4 years and it was never mentioned, and you know, maybe she wasn't ready, but you didn't mention to him several times that when are you going to propose, you know? And so
family was asking you?
Yeah, but I just feel like the most important thing that should come from it is to be able to give him some type of clarification as to why, right? Why are you saying that you're not ready? And it wasn't, I don't know if she did or if she didn't, but it wasn't really like stated that she did within the message, because it's like she just said she wasn't ready and he doesn't know what to do. And I feel like that's very hard, especially when you've given, like you say, yourself to this person for 4 years. You see yourself having a life with this person, building a life with this person, and you take that step to, you know, go on to actually do that, and to have that person say, yes, I want to do it, and then just be like, you know what? No, I'm not ready. It's like, well, I need some real reasons. I need an explanation as to why that is. Like, I really need a conversation. And I think that's old to him in that situation, or anyone else that's in that situation, to be like, okay, well, can you let me know what it is? Like, I just don't think I'm not ready will suffice.
The crazy thing is I get what you're saying. And I think for some people, they need that in order to go on their journey of healing. but I'm not with putting that power into somebody else's hand. I wouldn't even, if you pulled a stunt like that, I wouldn't need no explanation from you. I wouldn't, don't talk to me. Go about your business, because my thing is this: I dodged a bullet. Because it's one thing for you to come to me and say, look, I'm not ready for marriage. Let's work through this.
Yeah.
But to say, yo, I'm not ready, and then break up, it's like, yo, why would you even want to get married to somebody who walks away that easily?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying anything's wrong for you to get to this point where you're like, I'm not ready, because that engagement phase is real. You realize that, yo, this next step is marriage. Like, this is a lifetime, and that can scare a lot of people. So I get that part. But it wasn't, hey, I'm coming to you because I'm nervous. I'm scared. I don't know if I'm ready. Like, these are my concerns. Let's find a way that we can work through this together before we actually say I do, so we can put ourselves on the right path in order to have a successful marriage. Not, it's nothing wrong with you, but I just can't do this.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta break up.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to spend a lifetime with somebody who think like that. So, my good brother, I know it hurts. I know it's foul, it's messed up, but you dodged the bullet. Right? You dodged the bullet. So whatever it is that you need to do in order to help you get through this, do it. Like, surround yourself with friends who are not going to like joke about it or try to take you out to get your mind off it, because I know we do that a lot as men, but people who actually care about you and want to hear about what you're going through, and who can give you some solid advice on what you can do to overcome this.
Yeah.
That's going to be extremely important. Being able to rely on your other positive relationships in your life to bring you that source of well-being or happiness is going to be important for you. But I know this is a tough thing that you're going through, because you finally decided to pull the trigger and then they dip on you.
Yeah.
But the worst thing you can do is take that animosity and bring it into a new relationship and make somebody else pay for something that they didn't do.
That's true.
So you got to be able to work through that trauma, because it is a traumatic event that you just experienced.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because that message, it came up, or I came across it after we had discussed the topic of today, which is I'm not ready for a relationship. And I decided that we should do this discussion because I had actually had a conversation with a few of my friends, and we were and we were talking about how men, I would say from us, but women do the same, clearly, as you can see, how you have to break down the statement of people pretty much breaking up or saying that they're not ready for that relationship, or they're not ready for the next phase of a relationship, right? And how you can really identify what's being said, because sometimes, unfortunately, you have to identify it for yourself. Just like you just said to him, leaving that power in her hands to give him the answers that he needs necessarily to heal doesn't always happen. And that may not be the best thing anyway. So it's sometimes being able to identify what's being said by analyzing that person, things that have happened over the course of your relationship or the course of y'all dating, and really get those answers for yourself, right? And so I just think it was important after the conversation that I had for us to just have this little conversation and share both male and female perspective, because, I hear it a lot with females about how the whole breakup, or not even a breakup if you're not in a relationship, but just getting to that next phase of someone not wanting to move forward, how it's not necessarily intentional. We always talk about intentional dating, but people are intentional about letting go, right? Or being able to say, this isn't for me. So I think it would be interesting to hear both of our perspectives on it.
Do you think that it is about, so let's pull it back some. So let's not start with that whole phase where they were in, where it was like engagement to marriage.
Yeah.
But let's go back to dating, or even
getting to know you.
That is dating. You just get it confused. Or like being in a relationship. Is your partner saying, I'm not ready for a relationship, a valid statement ever?
Mm-hmm. Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Is it a valid
Act
statement?
Like she didn't know whether I was asking. Don't try to escape this.
Is it a valid statement? I feel like just I'm not ready is not enough. And the reason why I feel that is because there's more to it. There's more that needs to be discussed. And we always talk about how a lot of times we're having surface level conversations. We aren't getting to the bottom of what's really the issue. So maybe you aren't ready. Maybe you want to be ready, but something's hindering you from being there. And so if you're not open and communicating that, then it allows for that other person to make up all these ideas and thoughts of what it is that you're not ready for, instead of you just vocalizing what it is. Mm-hmm. So I just think you have to, you can make the statement, but you have to back it up.
Yeah. I believe it depends on the context, right? So if you're in the dating stage or you're trying to get to know somebody and they say that they're not ready for a relationship, it can mean two things. They're not ready for a relationship. They don't want to be in a relationship. They don't want to be in a relationship with you. Mm-hmm. They like the benefits, the perks of being able to do whatever they do, get pleasurable experiences from you without having that responsibility.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes when people tell us that, we think that we're somehow going to persuade them to fall in love with us and get in a relationship with us. So we stick around and spend more time with them than we should because we think that we're in control of the situation. And one day they're going to turn the corner and they're going to see, I am the one for them. Yeah. I am their soulmate. Mm-hmm. When that's not true. But I also think that there can be times where you get into a relationship and then you realize you're not ready for a relationship. Mm-hmm. Because if the experiences that you're having with this person is so pleasurable and you're getting so much excitement and enjoyment from this person, then you may rush things too soon and realize, man, I'm not ready for this responsibility. Let me give you an example. I watched YouTube. I saw them replace a backsplash. I got excited. I go in the kitchen, take the hammer, start going to work on the backsplash.
Right.
I'm having so much fun demolishing it. Now I know, like on Fixer Upper, why they'd be so happy about demo day. Like that was fun. I was taking out a lot of frustration and anger. But when it got to cleaning up and actually prepping the wall and doing everything I needed to do in order to hang up the backsplash, it's like, I'm not ready for this responsibility.
Okay.
So I think the same thing happens in a relationship, especially like when you're going out with somebody all the time. If y'all having sex, like it could be fun and pleasurable, and we confuse that pleasure with true happiness. And then when we get into the relationship, we're like, man, what? I gotta stop doing what? I gotta change my life. Like I gotta be on the phone with you all the time. Like I gotta do all this. Nah, I'm not ready for that.
Yes.
And if somebody approaches you and says that, then you gotta respect it. Like stop trying to force somebody to do something or be somebody that they're not willing to be.
Yeah. I think that you made a lot of valid points, especially with the whole, I feel like the word choice is very important when you're stating those things, right? Because when you say, oh, I'm not ready, another key key word choice of saying I'm not ready is when people are saying I'm not ready right now, right? And we harp on the right now factor. Like you say, you thinking that you can change somebody, you think in time, oh, if I show them who I am, or if they, grow with me and we have a good time. And if I am doing all these things in a certain manner, that whole right now will shift because I can shift it, right? I can show them what I believe will help them feel satisfied enough to be ready, right? And that is the most damaging thing that you can do to yourself, because you're putting yourself in limbo to say, oh, one, I'm going to change someone's mindset, which you shouldn't be trying to. They should be wanting to change that. Right. And you're just giving it no timestamp to say, oh, this person said they're not ready for a relationship. So it could go on 5 months. 5 months can turn into 5 years, and who knows however long after that, because they're not ready right now. And you're just sitting there trying to do all these things to change that right now. So like you said, I think that a lot of times you have to take what's being said for face value. If they're not ready, allow them to be not ready. If you're not ready, I feel like being able to explain that is important. Being able to say what it is, like, oh, maybe I'm not ready right now because I'm not ready for a relationship with you. I enjoy all the perks. Like you said, I enjoy having a good time, but there are some things that I don't foresee in you that I want to see in the person that I spend my future with. Right? There's some things that I like, but there's also some things that I dislike. And maybe that's not something that I'm willing to, take that next step with, or compromise my morals or values to say, okay, I'm going to stay in this for the long haul. So I think being able to step up and say, you know what, this isn't what I want, but this is why. I think it's very important for us to be able to do.
I'm about to say something.
Oh gosh.
That I
Let me
never
take a
thought
sip
I
of some
would
water.
say. Yeah, take a sip of some water. I'm about to say something that I never thought I would say. And the younger Devin would probably be looking at me saying, boy, shut up.
Oh, man.
Like,
okay.
What are you talking about?
Okay.
But I think that if you're not ready to be in a relationship, you shouldn't be out here dating. You shouldn't be out here having sexual relations with people.
Well.
Because there's a lot of damage and hurt that can happen to people when you're not in that headspace. If you're not dating with intentionality.
Yeah.
Because you can be out here just having sex with a bunch of people and then, oops, a child is born.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're growing up in a broken home. Their parent is not around. Both their parents are not around all the time. They may grow up and find out that this happened from a one-night stand or it was a mistake, and the amount of trauma that comes from that is real.
Mm-hmm.
The traumatic experience that both parties will experience if things don't work out is real. So I feel like until you're in that space where you feel like, all right, I'm good mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm ready to go out here and start dating with intentions, you shouldn't just be out here moving a certain way. You know what I mean? Like, you should already be getting your act together, getting yourself set up. I'm not saying that you need to be in a place where you automatically are, you already reached all your goals or you have a certain level of success, but you should know exactly where you're trying to go in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we just be out here moving. We be out here living life with no purpose, just waking up and just doing whatever, letting life take control of us instead of us taking control of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm at a place right now where I don't think that people should do that. Whereas back in the day, I'd be like, well, shut up. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But I seen how many people have been hurt.
Yeah.
Because adults don't know how to be intentional about the things that they're doing, about the people that they invest their time with, about the people they lay down and have sex with.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts. I don't know if you agree with it, but
no, I agree. I agree. I definitely agree, because you put yourself in some very compromising situations, like you said, whether it is bringing a child into this world, whether it is, you're out here moving all around in these streets and anything can happen to you personally, with transmitting diseases and everything like that. Like, it's like a lot of times when you are moving like that, you moving real reckless, right? Yeah. And you're not even just thinking about the people that you're affecting. You're not thinking about yourself, clearly. And so I think that what you said is very important for us to do, because it factors, a lot of people play into the overall outcome. If you look at it, you may think like, oh, I'm just living my life. I'm young. I'm having fun. I'm doing this. I ain't worried about this. I'm for the streets. I'm doing all this. And it's like, oh, we all think it's a cute little phrase to say. Not we all, but, throw it around like, oh, yeah. But no, when you sit back and you look at it and you have went through those phases in life where you're able to see how those experiences affect you in the long run, you realize that you can change it. And you need to change it. So I think what you said is very true.
Because I think that our fun always has a chance to turn into our pain.
Yeah.
I've seen so many stories where people out here, they having kids by people they would never married. They would never be in a relationship with, and the dude is not in their child life, and the mom is struggling to take care of the child, and she's thinking, man, well, I thought he was cute. I was just out here having fun. Now I'm a single mom raising a child on my own.
Yeah.
Or even vice versa. Like there's single dads out there, or there's dads who, baby mom put them through hell because they don't want to be with them. They never wanted to be with them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like before we make those decisions to go out here and have fun, we got to ask ourselves, yo, could this really one day turn into my pain?
Yes.
Could it turn into somebody else's pain? Can this be a decision that I'm going to regret?
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop being so impulsive and learn to make better decisions for ourselves, because it's a lot of people who are paying because of the decisions that they made when they was younger. And I'm not exempt from none of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I made a lot of crazy decisions, and I share that with y'all all the time because I don't have nothing to hide, but I learned from my mistakes that I've made.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a young dude out there that's I could possibly help by sharing this, like, yo, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because we don't really think about our future when we're young. Like, we think that we just superheroes and we're indestructible, but it's a lie. You realize that when you get older.
Yeah, that's true. Well, another misleading statement that's used a lot or is common when, breaking up or not going to the next phase of your relationship is you're the right person. It's just the wrong timing. Right. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
How does that make sense? Right. And it's so funny because I was talking to my friend about this and and it's like, I've heard so many people say this, like, you're the right person. You're so perfect. You have this going on, this, then, and third, but it's just the bad timing. It's the wrong time. And I'm like, I don't understand how that can be, right? That this person that you see is so perfect. If it was any other timing, okay, if it was 10 p.m., it would be the right time. Like, how is it that you can foresee them having all the traits and attributes and the morals and values and everything instilled in them that you want in a person that you're going to build a life with, but it's just not the right time? And it just comes off like an excuse to me.
I mean, if you go back to what I said earlier, what are you out here dating for?
Yeah.
What are you out here dating? If you just out here trying to have sex, and just say that.
Yeah.
But you can't be out here on a dating scene and then you find somebody that's perfect and then say it's not the right time.
Yeah.
Well, then what the hell are you out here wasting my time for? Because I'm out here trying to find somebody that I can spend my life with and build with. And what, you just trying to go out to eat?
Okay.
Like, what are you really trying to do? So I think that just goes back to that people are not intentional. People are bored and they're using people to help occupy their time.
But I think it's so important, like you said, they're not being intentional, but being able to make it clear what your intentions are from the gate. Like, I think that's not done. And like you said, when you sit up here and you say, oh, something like, oh, you're so perfect, we've been dating or we've been doing whatever you want to call it for 6 months or so, and it's just like now the time where it's like we seem like we're close, we're intimate, we're spending all this time together, we vibe well, and now it's time to get to the next level, and you're like, you're so great, but nah, not right now, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you set those intentions from the very beginning that, I'm out here just doing me, like I'm not trying to be in a committed relationship, I just want to have fun, I just want to see you when I see you, and we do what we do and then keep it moving. If you're clear with stating that from the beginning, then 9 times out of 10, that person is probably not going to stay there. They may stay there, but if you do decide to stay there and accept that, you have to know that you signed up for that. You have to allow that person to make that decision. Is this something that I want to pursue? And if that person tells you that, because I know that a lot of us females, and I can speak to this, you try to think that you're going to change somebody or change their mind. So if they tell you, oh, this is what I'm going to do, or this is what I'm looking for, and you're like, oh, I still like him, or I still want to get to know him, I still want to be around him, he going, experience all of this goodness and he going to change his mind, right? If he told you from the beginning what he was looking for, if he told you from the beginning what he was looking for, don't put yourself in that situation that when those 6 months come and you're wanting to be committed, that now he's telling you the same thing that he told you from day one. Like, don't do that to yourself. Someone's telling you what you want, then regardless of what you think could happen or could be with that person, you got to know how to just move and shake. Like, no, that ain't for me. We not on the same level right now. You're not looking for the same things that I'm looking for out of life, and it's time for us to go. You know, we got to go our separate ways. I think being able to say that is important.
I'm about to sound real hypocritical. What you spending 6 months with somebody for to see if y'all going to get into a relationship? Y'all should have already been past that point. And I say I'm sounding hypocritical because me and you wasn't together for a year. You know what I mean? In your mind, we was, but we wasn't official. We spent a year getting to know each other, and I know us being long distance played a big part in that because I ain't really get to be around you as much as I would have wanted to get to see how you truly were. So I don't even know why you was messing with me for that long. But hey,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I can speak to it.
Be dating somebody for 6 months to try to get into a relationship.
Why not?
That's a half a year we're spending dating to think about getting into a relationship. Like,
I mean, not even just thinking about it. Like, if that's what I'm saying, if they make it clear, like from the beginning, like, oh, you know, I'm just out here getting to know people.
We decide we get into a relationship.
No, you're saying that now.
Yeah, I am saying that now because I'm married. I can get away with saying that because I don't actually have to stick to it. But how long do you need to date somebody to say, especially if y'all are in the same state, y'all see each other, let's say at least 3-4 times a week for a month. That's 12 times, 16 times that you get to see somebody, spend time with them. If you're being intentional about dating them, you should be able to get to know them. How long does it take you to decide, look, I'm going to try this relationship thing out with them? I'm not saying, yo, drop to a knee, say, will you marry me? But how long does it take somebody to say, let's do this? Let's make it official. It should not take you that long.
I mean, it shouldn't, but for some it does. And I don't think that you should necessarily put a timestamp on it to say, oh, it shouldn't take 6 months for you to be like, oh, let's solidify that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, right? I don't think that you should necessarily put that stamp on there. Like, I feel like it happens organically when you have those moments, whether it be, 2 months and you're connecting with that person. It's like, oh, yeah, I want us to be official or whatever. Or if it is the 6 month phase where it's like, okay, we've gotten to know each other. We gotten to know each other's family. Like, we enjoy each other's company. We experienced maybe some hiccups in our little, dating phase where we were able to, work through it and see how we could handle problems and resolve issues in the future. So yeah, I want to take it to that next step and make that commitment. I don't necessarily think that you have to put a timestamp to say, 6 months is way too long. But it is way too long if you're not intentional with saying what you're looking for. If you're just dating for 6 months and you're not being intentional with telling that person that, yes, I want to be in a relationship, or yes, this is what I'm looking for in the future, and y'all not having those intentional, deep conversations about what you want from that person, then you're wasting your time.
I mean, I don't think that you have to put an exact time frame on it, but I think that you should be conscious of the amount of time it takes, because you brought up that it happens organically, right? It's organic. Well, if a farmer goes and plants organic tomatoes, they're going to put this seed into the ground with the expectation that the seed is one day going to turn into a tomato.
Right.
And they have an expected time frame in which it's going to produce the tomato. So just because you have an expected time frame doesn't mean that it's not organic. He's going to go out there every single day and water that soil.
Absolutely.
And produce the right environment in order for it to grow. And of course, there may be a storm that comes by and slows down the progress, but he still has an understanding of how long it should take for that tomato, that seed, to produce a tomato. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, let it be organic.
How long does it take for a tomato to grow?
I don't even know. I was just questioning myself, does it even grow from seed?
Did you know that it grows in 6 months?
I don't know anything about fruit.
I'm
not
telling
a
you.
farmer. I'm from the city.
It takes 6 months.
You don't know.
I don't. But I'm just saying.
I know you don't know. We from the city. We don't know nothing about that. But yes, things can happen organically, but you should know the type of environment that's going to produce whatever it is you're trying to grow organically, or else you can be out here just wasting your time.
Yeah.
6 months is hella long to be thinking about getting into a relationship.
Yeah. But even not only that, but saying like it's the wrong time or it's bad timing, you have to think, and we talked about this before, there's no real idea of the perfect time, right? Like you can sit up here and try to prepare yourself for life and what you want of it, but obstacles and curveballs are always going to be thrown at you. Right. So if you're sitting up here trying to find the right time or the perfect time to say, oh, this is the next step in our relationship where, you know, your idea of nothing is going wrong or whatever the case may be, what you're looking for, something's going to occur where you may be like, well, dang, was it the right time? So if you're just going off of what you think is the right time, you don't know how long you could be waiting for. And when you want to be with that person or whoever you want to be with, you're going to make the wrong time the right time, right? You're going to make sure that you have the time to be with that person. You're going to make sure that you use that time that you do have to do whatever is possible to say, you know what, regardless of if I'm going through something right now in life, I'm going to go through it with this person. We're going to come out of this together. They're going to help support me. They're going to encourage me. And then you're going to realize that regardless of if it's a bad time in your eyes or not, that it was made good because that person that you had there beside you helped you get through that. So I think you have to be able to look at it from that perspective. But like you were saying, if you're not in that state of mind of saying, I want to take this relationship to the next level, or you're not being intentional, that time not going to happen because you're not really looking for nothing. You're just looking to have fun. True. So
is there another one?
Yeah. So our last one, you guys, is I need time to work on myself.
Should have worked on yourself before you met me, man.
But no, I think this
my time.
Yeah,
man. Why can't you work on yourself with me? We
can
work on ourselves together.
Yeah,
and help each other.
Yeah, I feel like it's an honest statement hitting under excuses, and like you said, I just feel like it is. I feel like most of these statements are cover-ups, right? Either you're trying to pretty much preserve that person's feelings by not hurting them, not coming off like the bad guy, or you know, just
bad
girl,
woman,
white, right?
Wow.
I meant to say right. I'm sorry, but not coming off like you're the negative person, like the evil villain, like, oh, I just broke up with them for no reason. Like you just try to be mindful, so you just say these statements and make these comments which make no sense in reality.
Y'all be lying.
That's it's like it's excuses. You're just making things up to like, for what reason? Like, just be honest. If it's gonna hurt my feelings, or if you think it's gonna hurt my feelings, I'm okay. I'm grown. I'll process my emotions and I can get through it. But I would rather you be honest with me and give me some, you know, solid facts as to why this is versus you just telling me something that's gonna be like surface. Like, don't just like try to put a band-aid over it and that's it. Like, no, I'm gonna need you to make sure it's clean and, you know, put the ointment on, and then we patch it up so that it heals properly, right? Don't just try to like smooth over things. And I think that's a lot of times what's being done is just like, okay, I'm gonna say this so that it doesn't come off a certain way and just keep it moving. But it's really things that's behind it. And when you say, oh, like you said, I need time to work on myself, well, in reality, you may really need that time to work on yourself. You may have needed to work on yourself before you was with me, but it may be things that occurred in your life while we were together that you need to work through. But why can't we work through that together, like you said?
Yeah, because I don't even think, like, I know people always talk about, you know, doing the therapy, doing the work before you get into a relationship so that you can be whole. But I think it's very rare that you will find somebody out here that is completely whole going into the relationship. There's going to be some type of baggage that you're going to bring into a relationship. I brought baggage. You brought baggage. We had an understanding of that baggage, and we're like, yo, we're just going to work through this together.
Right.
We're going to try to reach the goals that we have for ourselves and for us as one together. Mm-hmm. So I really don't understand that statement. Like I said, if you had needed to work on yourself, do that before you be out here dating. If what you need to work on is that real that you can't get into a relationship, it should be that real that you shouldn't be out here dating, because what are you dating for?
Yeah.
If you still have a lot of stuff that you need to work through, what you out here having sex for, so that you can bring a child into this world and pass down whatever trauma you trying to work through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that we think of stuff in that way. And I'll be honest, I didn't think of that stuff when I was younger. But now that I get older, it comes with wisdom.
Yeah.
When you look back, you're like, man, why did I do this? Or I'm glad I didn't do this. I'm glad this wasn't a consequence of an action that I did take.
Yeah.
Like, as you get older, you get more mature, and you realize that a lot of stuff that you did when you was younger was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And if you reach this age and you don't speak about it, and you allow, in my perspective, other men, young men, to go through this stuff because you don't want to talk about it, then what are you around for?
Yeah, that's true. I feel like that's really true. And I feel like you were saying, we are all a work in progress, like a never ending work in progress. We're always growing. We're always learning. We're always changing. And so I think it's so crucial to be able to have that person there with you through through those processes, as that support system. Like it talked about all the time, the experiences that we went through, whether it be personal or together, it was important to have that person there that was solid, that was able to uplift me in that time, to, encourage me in that time, to pray with me in that time. And so when you are saying, oh, I need to work on myself, it's a very valid statement, because you're always going to be working on yourself. But having that person that understands the work that needs to be done and that's willing to support you while they also know that they have work that they need to do will go so much further than you just feeling like you have to take it on by yourself, or you have to be, like you said, whole or together, or the work is all done, because the work will never be done. So being able to communicate, you know what, I want to be with you. I would love to be with you. I would love to spend my life with you and see a future with you. But it's some things that I need to work through. Maybe, and being honest, maybe I should have worked through them before, but I didn't, and I'm needing to work through them now. And maybe some things that, we experienced while we were together that's contributing to it. And so I just need to know if you're going to be able to be there to support me through this, but I need help.
Sound like you've been there before.
Oh, we've been there. Okay. We've been there. And I think that's important. So that's why I say I feel like it's an excuse, and most of these statements are backed by more things, but they're not being said. Maybe the person doesn't feel comfortable, or they are just looking at it as a scapegoat to not be able to be that open or vocal about their feelings and their emotions with that person. And I think that's not okay. It's not okay for the person on the receiving end, and it's not okay for them, because you're not allowing yourself to fully process it, why it is that you're not wanting to move forward with this relationship, because you could be missing out on the best thing in your life.
True.
So I think being able to sit and, like you said, be intentional with not only dating, but being intentional while you're in the process of just getting to know the person, which you say I get wrong all the time of dating. But when you first meet someone, before y'all even say, oh, we're going out on dates, just being intentional about finding those individuals, being intentional about who you choose to select to come into your world, to date, to take to that next level. I think you have to be intentional with yourself and real about things that you may be experiencing and needing to work through or needing to process before you get to that phase, so that you don't come up short or not really present yourself in a certain manner when you feel like you can't take on that relationship.
Yeah. But that I'm like really random, right? I'm a random person. Like I had random thoughts, okay, and rarely do I keep my thoughts in my head. But I was just sitting here thinking, like, I have a really bad back from football, like back surgery, like just craziness. And these chairs really make me uncomfortable sometimes. So like, if y'all ever watch the podcast, y'all see I be like moving, turning, like I'm doing all this for y'all. But I think we might need to introduce a couch, because sometimes when I be watching Joe Budden podcast, he be sitting Indian style on his couch, and he be looking real peaceful and zen and comfortable. And I think I need to get to a point where I get flexible enough to sit Indian style so that I can find that type of comfort, because this is not comfortable.
Okay, babe. That could have been your keeping it real moment, because I don't even know how he summed this up at the end of this conversation.
Because my back just started hurting. I'm like, yo, he be looking real peaceful. I don't remember the last time I sat Indian style, but
I don't even know if you can sit Indian style.
I can. I just told you I can. I need to work on my flexibility in order to do that. But and neither can you.
I can sit Indian style. I can sit Indian style in a chair, actually.
Do it.
No, not right now.
I
not on camera.
All right, well, I'm gonna cut this part out. Let me just see you do it. Come on.
No, you're lying.
I promise you, I'm gonna cut this.
Okay,
part out.
Let's see.
All right. I ain't even gonna try because I know I can't do it. We gonna have to end this because my back is killing me. I love y'all.
I can't.
My back is hurting.
Well, you guys, we hope you guys enjoy this episode, and until next time, keep it real.
Yes, sir.